So let's build our rocket base. For this we're going to need a template. You'll need to make a template a bit like this one that we're going to use to then cut out 8 shapes. These 8 shapes are going to slot together to build your rocket ship base. So to make this we're going to need some scissors, a pencil and perhaps a rubber, and start out with a sheet of paper that is 12 centimetres wide and 42 long. So 12 by 42, and it doesn't matter if you don't have a piece of paper already this size or as long as this, you can always piece it together as long as it's a nice plain bit of paper that you can easily cut and you can see your marks on. So you can always paste it together if you don't have a piece big enough. So if you want to grab a piece of paper that size, and what we're going to do is we're going to start off by folding it in half down the middle. I'm going to fold it this way. So fold it all the way down the middle, like so. And then we're going to draw a curve from the very top, leaving about a centimetre gap at the top. Draw a curve all the way along to the end there. So drawing your curve, and make sure you've got about a centimetre gap from your curve to the edge of the paper. Okay, and then where you want the end of your rocket, you're going to measure up maybe about 4 centimetres. So measure up 4 centimetres, and then give yourself a little stand, a little rocket stand there. So that's half your rocket shape. And now from here we're going to add the tabs. So if we bring this back in here, you'll be able to see. We're going to add these tabs all the way along the curve. And for that we're going to measure in. So we're going to start off by measuring in. I've got my tape measure here. Could also use a ruler, might be more sensible, but I've always got a tape measure because I'm working cloth mostly. So I'm going to measure 1 centimetre in, put a little mark. And then I'm going to measure 3 centimetres in. And then this will be my first tab, so I'm going to put some little lines, only about a centimetre tall, coming up, and then follow the curve of your rocket shape along the top to add your tab. So I'm going to keep going. There's going to be a gap of 3, and then another tab of 3. So I'm going to measure 3 and do the same again. So come up at a little bit of an angle, and then straight across the top. Your tabs don't need to be perfect, they just need to be quite evenly spaced. Okay, so then 3 centimetres and another 3, and again add your tab. So keep going. 3, 3, and add my tab. Another 3. The gap, another 3, here's my tab. So tabs really help in being able to stick one thing to the other, and you see them always on boxes. Build your own box. And then 3. Okay, that's my last tab. I'm going to add a little tab as well to the tail part. At this point actually you could rub this part out to be sure you don't cut that out. You don't want to cut your base off, so call it the fishtail or the base of your rocket. So for this you want to measure in 1 centimetre only, and then we're going to give it a 2 centimetre tab because it's a little bit too small for that 3 centimetre tab, so let's go with 2 centimetre one. So there you can see. Hopefully you can see clearly, all of the tabs are in place. So now I'm going to cut those tabs out. The next step is to cut them out. So we're going to cut all the way along this pencil line, making sure you don't cut through both layers of the paper. So making your template, let's cut out here, all the way along your pencil line. Now if you feel like you may make a mistake and cut a tab off, which you certainly don't want to do because they're there to help you. You can use a rubber just to rub away that inside line, just to make sure your tab is complete there and you're not going to cut it off. So we could rub away these lines. That's okay. It's good at making these templates together, as you get a really good sense of how something can be built with a little bit of a guide as you go. And then, although with the junk modelling, it's normally quite free and easy, and it's really great fun to work with the shapes you've already got. It's also really nice to make yourself a base, something a bit more structured, and have a little bit more of a technique on the go. And if you're working together as a family, you can really help each other out here in the measuring. One person measures, the other one checks, the next person cuts, perhaps until you've got one edge complete with their tabs. Now the next side, we're going to need to put that fold back in, and then we're going to copy only, we're going to draw around only the very tops of your tabs. So penciling over the top of each of those tabs, all the way down to the bottom. And then we're going to pencil in the gaps. So first off, we want to draw a little V shape into each gap. So where you can see down the bottom here is the little corner shape here of our tail, beginning of our tail. We're going to add a V in all the way up to that line and then fill in the gap. And then we're going to take this tab all the way along to the end, and then we're going to V up. Okay, so come along again, find the middle point. You can measure it if you want to, that'll be, it's 3, so 1.5 in, 1.5 in, or you can just do it by eye, find the middle point, and then bring it up. Bring your tabs across. And then the centre point of this one, V and across, making a nice long tab for this side. So V up and across, one more, and the very last one, up and across. Okay, and we're going to take this one all the way to the top. You've got your line there. Next, once you've done all of that, copying and making these little V's in the centre mark, centre point, we're going to bring the tabs, the first tabs that you made, we're going to bring them down. So we're going to fold all the tabs down. All the way to the end. So all of these tabs are now folded upwards, and we're going to make a line, use the tab to copy a line from one point to the other point, and these lines are going to become your slits that then the tabs feed into. It will all become clear. So only just copying the tab fold, just copy your tab fold. Ta-da! Okay, so we're all copied. And you can open that up, you can bring your tabs straight again for now, for this template part. Okay, and we unfold the centre line, and again cutting out. So we're going to cut only along that outer edge, the tabs for the opposite side. You don't need to do anything with the slit lines. At this point, we're going to score along those, cut along those even, when the whole template's cut out. So we're going to cut out, and again at this point, nobody is to be sitting idle. If you're working as a full family, somebody else can maybe be thinking how this all goes together and thinking up the design. We're going to be putting together all those nice cereal boxes side by side and taping up, so somebody can get going with that. Grab the tape, start gathering your junk, because the next step is coming up. Okay, so your template. The final thing to do here is to cut into your slits. So a little tip for this, because if you snip like that, you might make a little V mark. So a little tip for this is to fold that. Again, it's your template, doesn't matter if there's fold lines in it. Fold it in half and cut it open. The reason for cutting the template open is because later we're going to use that little slit to make a mark for where our cardboard slit needs to be. Okay, so we'll work all the way along here, cutting our slits open, and there's your template. Okay, so if you're done with your template and you've got your template already, you can start bringing in your card, so your nice collected bits of junk card. So this is a cereal box, all nicely opened up. So here's a little couple of tips on making the actual pieces. Remember, you need 8 pieces to build your rocket, so 8 of this size. So we're going to use your template to cut out those 8. And don't be tempted to put your template in the centre of your card like this, draw around it and cut around it straight away, because you might find you'll run out of card quite quickly. So have a little think about how best to economise with your card. So if we bring our template in up here and draw around it, we should then be able to get another one beside it. Or we might be able to angle it and then bring in half here and extend there. So have a little play around together and just see how you can best use your card. It's a little bit like the dressmaking when you're laying out your patterns. So with a cereal box shape sized bit of card, you should be able to get 2 pattern pieces out of that. I've got 2 little bits of card here, so I just want to show you how you might want to lay them out cleverly so you can squeeze your template on. So these 2 here, let's say to tape them side by side, that one on top of that one, we should be able to get the template on at an angle, just about, yeah. So if you just level up your template, ask someone to help you to hold. So remove your template once you've leveled it up, hold it carefully here, and then you're going to just simply tape it down, stick it down, glue it down, tape them together or stick them together on both sides. Really doesn't need to be that neat. Just going to lay it out so you've got a bigger bit of card there that your template will fit on. So you're just going to lay the template down and draw around it. So draw around it nice and bold, and you can actually lay out all your card like this and draw around 6, and then pass it around the family or pass it around your little team and do all the cutting out together. And one more little thing to show you before the cutout stage. I've actually found some packaging that's got some really wonderful rockety additions that I thought I could use for a little window there, and maybe a little spiral kind of porthole here. So if you've got any funky packaging like that, you could also give that a try. So when you're thinking about where to put it, you might want to think cleverly about where that template might lie to have a porthole. Where do you want it? Down at the bottom here or up at the top? So now you've got 8 rocket pieces. We're just going to finish them off. So we're going to need to put the little slits in for all of those tabs to go into. So if you remember, you made some holes here in your template, and they're going to come into use now. So we're going to lay the template on top of each piece. And then for this you may want to use a biro just because it's a nice pointy end. Or you can use a hard pencil, it's fine. So So we're going to turn the tab, line it up. You can use a bit of blue tack if you want to keep it still, or a little bit of wound up masking tape just to keep it in place, or you can just hold it down and then bring the tab back and just put a mark where that slit is. So there's your slit guide in your template, and you're just going to mark them in. So marking each of them in, just make sure that you're not, your template isn't wobbling. And mark in carefully to the end of your slit. Make sure your slit's not too short at all, because if you mark it too short and cut it too short, then of course the tabs may not fit into the slits. And the final one. So there you have your lines for cutting the slits. And here's a little tip on that. Pair of scissors that I might not have shown you earlier, but a pair of scissors that have got nice sharp ends. But if you haven't got really sharp ended scissors blades, sort of more rounded like this one, you can always use a pencil or a biro to start and then cut through. So this is probably the easiest way to cut through your slits. You put a rubber or a little bit of blue tack underneath, pop your card on top, make that little hole, so either with a pen or with your scissors, and then you're just going to cut in from the centre, one side, snip, and the other side, snip. So you're just going to snip open, and don't worry if it's a bit of a jaggedy edge, you're just going to snip each of your slits open. So here's all the others. It's going to complete that 8th one, and then all our pieces are ready to assemble. So before you assemble all the pieces, you might want to think about a door into your rocket. And for this, you might want to think about who's going to go into your rocket, and we've decided on this little pirate guy. So we're going to send him up to space, and so he's going to need to get into this door. And so we're going to lay him down just about where we think a door might go, remembering this is your base. So we're going to cut a door into here. So I started to measure just below his feet, just above his head, and then around to one side. You can give yourself a little dotted line here to remember that this is the fold of the door on one side too. So a little dotted line on one side, and here's where we're going to cut. Here's a little tip for when you're assembling all your pieces, putting your pieces together. If you start with the 4th tab, so 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top, start with that 4th tab and sort of thread it through. If you can get the middle one first, you can work up and down, because the curves are by far the trickiest tabs to get straight. You'll be able to see here the middle section. If you stick that middle section down first, then you can start to work either side. Here's how we're going to put the pieces together. The tabs are all just going to go straight into the slits. So one by one, you're going to place the tab in, and then put a little bit of tape on the other side to keep it in place. So just tape it down. So one by one as you go, tape them down. So place the tab in. Oops, that one doesn't want to go. Okay. And then tape it down. So all the way, one by one. So we have our rocket put together. So all of these pieces have been assembled to make our rocket now. So we have a rocket base. These guys are busy making a bit of some decorated panels.
I'm making a spaceman.
A spaceman. So here's Nonny making her spaceman. Hello. And here's Ezra. And he's making some spacey patterns for the outside of the rocket. So there you have your base. So I hope you enjoyed that. And from here on, it's really a free-for-all. Whatever you want to do to make your rocket completely yours. The last thing we thought of that your rocket might really need is where you have your door. So So you may have split open your door. You may have a little door here. You might want to make a little base so that your toy, or whoever's going inside, doesn't fall out. So the little toy can go in here, but you don't want him falling out at the bottom. So you might want to just cut a little disc or have a little tray-shaped thing like an egg box tray and pop that in the bottom and tape it round so nothing falls out. You could also tape onto that base lots of nice strings and things for maybe some rockety fire. Yeah, fire coming out the bottom, that would be great. So we can't wait to see how your rockets look when they're all assembled and personalised with your own little touches. We really miss seeing you all at the gallery and all the amazing creations that you do with us. So please share whatever you make from this rockety space special. Thank you. So we hope you've had fun with the space junk modelling. We've had a lot of fun in here. We've made a couple of rockets, made a little bit of a couple of accessories for ourselves for fun. So just a little note on the junk modelling. It maybe makes quite a bit of mess, but go with the mess, allow the mess. As long as everyone's playing safe, get involved, get yourself a nice big space for spreading out, and yeah, we hope you can enjoy it for a good few days ahead. And with the space theme, just maybe it can continue into some more lovely exploration for your little ones, things to do together, but also for slightly older kids. As long as they're not using hot glue or really sharp scissors, they should be good to junk model solo. So it's a really nice thing to just keep your junk modelling box on the go and just let them freely sculpt things in their own time.
Yeah.